Is this new menu red carpet worthy?
Princess the Bear here today. We're at Disney's Hollywood Studios because we saw lights in the sky, so that means it's time to
going to Hollywood Brown Derby.
Yes, the menu is updated, and as your number one choice of foodie infotainment, we're here to try the menu so you don't have to. So she's vegan. I'm not. We're gonna get our name in the stars.
Time to foodie and chill. I used to call these the Hollywood Brown Derby rolls, but when we went to 1900 Park Fair for dinner recently, I got admonished by a chef on the line telling me that Grand Floridian Bakery bakes theirs in-house. So I guess they're not all the Hollywood Brown Derby rolls, but to me, they're still the Hollywood Brown Derby rolls. Beautiful French roll, super hot, and then though the menu has changed, they do still have the Earth Balance butter. This one is nice and soft. Ooh. Usually they give it to you like cold. This is like perf. All right. If I could pick one bread obsession, it would be the Hollywood Brown Derby. There's a few. I mean, Bear did say he wanted to do photo pass with the focaccia at 1900 Park Fair, and I don't disagree with that statement either. But I don't know. I mess with this bread. I don't want to photo pass with this bread though, but I would for the focaccia. So maybe it's not the best bread at Disney, but it's certainly up there. It gives great bread. It's the kind of bread that like as soon as I heard about this menu change, I got excited that I get to eat this bread. That's how it is. So it's a 5 out of 5. It is a Princessies item. And even when you go to the lounge, though they do not proactively offer it, you can ask for the bread. And trust me, you will not regret it.
Sometimes. I'm almost convinced that the princess prays to the mouse for a new menu update just so she can come here and get this bread. Honestly, if she could just come and get a basket of this bread, even back in the day when like there used to be a bakery attached to this place, she would. She would walk around just a basket of this and munch on all day. That would be her park snack. Nice salted butter. It's not Himalayan sea salt anymore. It's just regular salt. But I suppose I can settle. All jokes aside, there's a reason why she loves the bread here so much, because it's just top tier bread. My recommendation, destroy the basket, ask for another. The princess almost always does. You're on vacation. We just live here. I would give it 4.75 out of 5 cloths. It's near perfect bread. I could stand a little bit harder crust, softer inside, but minor preference.
The perfect plant-based ravioli is still here on the menu, though the appetizers have changed. This one is never on the online menu. Like at some point it just got removed. And we came here when that happened, so I don't remember when that was, because we come here like 4 times a year. And then we saw it was still on the menu, and we were like, okay, cool. So I'm glad that it's still here, even though it's still not listed. And it's in like a special section of the appetizer menu. So I don't know if maybe them making that change on the actual menu affected the online menu, but usually those things are not tied together. So at least me, as putting on my IT hat, I can tell you those systems are not connected. Anyway, ravioli time. This ravioli is always served al dente, and I kind of like it like that. You want it to hold everything together. And then there's just really an interesting flavoring to it. It's not like your normal, like, oh, it's just going to have filling and it's fine or whatever, but it really has a lot of flavor to it. More like earthy than savory, but I love it. And there's like a sweet potato in there too, so you get a little bit of sweet action in there. I like the peas, but then like the greens on top, not for me. So there have been times in the past where I have ordered the ravioli, just two orders of ravioli, and skipped the entree because it was lentil pie for so long. And now we have a new entree, so I only ordered one. But mind you, this is so good I could order 2. I would give it a 4.75 out of 5 ravioli. I don't think it's my favorite ravioli on property anymore, but it's still pretty good.
Butternut squash ravioli, this will not go away. Now, this has been one of the prettiest dishes they've had here for a very long time. But honestly, I expected this one to change when the menu updated this time. Guess I was wrong. Luckily, the princess likes it. Otherwise, I'd be hating, because this is a lot of peas for an appetizer, you know? If you're going to feed me an appetizer with peas, it had better be good. One thing I like about this ravioli is the subtle, like, sweet earthiness. Like in butternut squash has that earthy flavor, but it also has that hint of sweet. So it's an appetizer. It gets me hungry, but it's not something where it feels like I'm eating candy. But it also doesn't feel like I'm eating some other, like, dirt root vegetable sort of deal. It's unique in that regard. I would give that 4.5 out of 5 claws. It's still a top tier appetizer for our vegan community. So brand new appetizer on the menu is this Hamachi Newburg. It's a hamachi that is citrus cured with a little Newburg sauce and sort of like a fruit cocktail along with it. It's displayed out here, very well plated in this bowl that's giving me flashbacks of the Atlantic at Epic Universe. And now all of a sudden I want to go back to Epic Universe. Just dive right in. Now, it's a much smaller portion than hamachi. Normally, I get it like, I feel like it's been plated like lengthwise in like bigger portions, but bite size is fine. Wow. Makes my mouth tingle. It's like it's a very tart, like acidic sauce that really helps with that briny flavor you would normally get with like a fish served raw. So you're getting like that flavor like all in one bite, and it's like fruity, tart, but at the same time like seafood. That is really tasty. It's complex though, so there's a lot of flavors going on at once. I can't promise that everybody is going to like. I like it, but your mileage may vary, and you might need a breath mint afterwards. So it's very like garlic forward and very fishy. I would give that a 4 out of 5 claws. It's good fish. I'm always very curious to like the naming of salads, because this is the beet and kale salad. So it's a curious name all on its own, but within this beet and kale salad, you have beet, kale, spinach, walnut, warm bacon with a bacon vinaigrette. So, I mean, yes, it does have kale and beets in it, but it's not by far not all of it. I would say the beets are about 25%, the kale is about 25%, and then you have the bacon and the spinach. It's interesting.
And the goat cream.
And then there's a goat cheese cream holding down some of the beets on the bottom here. Go ahead and cut in, and you have golden beets. You have the traditional red beets. It's a lot going on in a single salad, especially a single salad only covering half a plate. How I fork this? Anybody's guess. So I forget the candied walnuts as well. I'm not doing well here. We're going to have to unhinge our jaw for this one. This menu is giving me, we want to be more like Juku vibes. The more we eat through it. The plating, the mix of ingredients. Hollywood Brown Derby is a very Californian-themed restaurant, so I understand some of these, but I'm mixing the funk of goat cheese with beets, which is already an earthy flavor, kale, which is sort of like a bitter, earthy flavor, and then walnuts, even though candied, still very earthy. So it's a lot of like from the land type flavors that I'm not sure go well together. The candied walnuts are sweet. Beets have a sweet nature to them, but they sort of like fight the flavor of the walnuts, and then the goat cheese is actually is sort of like overpowered by both the kale and the beets, and the bacon is there, and you do get that bacon flavor, but it's by far like the weakest of the flavors. So I don't know how I feel about that. It's okay salad if you like the ingredients. I like beets, but I feel like they've had better salads. And when you have the famous Cobb salad on the menu, I don't understand why you'd order this one. That's not bad. It just stands in the shadow of greater salads. 3.5 out of 5 claws.
then Disney World thought it would be really smart to serve 2 pastas to vegans on the same menu. So I get a pasta for my app, and I get a pasta for my aunt instead of the shepherd's pie. Now, I am thankful because I was so over that shepherd's pie, and the one at Raglan is better. So having a stuffed squash is very nice. And then the innards is like chickpea and vegetables and stuff. So it's like, it almost gives me like samosa vibes. I think I'm just going to take a whole one. This beautiful cream sauce. And then it has roasted chickpeas on the side and big pieces of asparagus. Now, it said seasonal vegetables. So the asparagus is going to be seasonal. But if Bear and I have learned anything, when you have asparagus or green beans as your seasonal vegetable, that's basically your vegetable. So you should just put that on the menu instead. I digress. Oh my God. My world has just been rocked. This is amazing. And what makes it amazing is that cream sauce. Wow. Is she flavorful. I love the roasted chickpeas too, but like there's just something about this cream sauce that is just extra special. And I've had a lot of things. This kind of gives me vibes of like an angolati, which I've had at multiple places. The worst one I had was at Yachtsman, so I'm glad that's not there anymore. There's currently one at the Ale and Compass, and then the newest one that was at Topolino's, both of which are pretty interesting. I kind of like the one at Topolino's more than the one at Ale and Compass, but I will say, of the 3, this one is the best. This one has more flavor. It packs a punch. It's 1,000% because of the cream sauce and the toasted chickpeas. I was so tired of that lentil shepherd's pie, especially because you can get the better one at Raglan. So I'm glad that there is a new option. I'm actually now not as mad that it's a double pasta option, though I'm still a little bit miffed about that. I'll eat it with some bread, I'll be happy. This dish is delicious. I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 pastas. I think it needs more sauce and less greens on top. The greens fixins just gotta go. You need to give me something more practical, like some nuts or something. I don't know, extra chickpeas. But other than that, it's so good. So good. Better than I expected it to be.
Even before I get to the plate, there is a myriad of flavors floating up into my nostrils from this place. Lemongrass and everything else, the mushroom, potato, the chickpea, this cream sauce is very interesting. There's a couple of extra dirt rooms on top. I'm going to go ahead and liberate. The princess is not going to eat those anyway, so why not give them a little bit of Bear liberation? And then chickpea, potato filling, it looks wonderful. Now, every time we see seasonal vegetables, something nowadays, it means to us less seasonal and more like what we have available, which works. Not really a complaint, just more of like a side note. Now, the cream sauce is truly creamy. Honestly, I could easily mistake that for being any other dairy-based cream. It's that convincing a sauce. The chickpea and potato filling is actually very, very filling as a filling. And then you get a lot of like a flavor punch, sort of like a pasta gusher, if you will, when you bite into it. You get that crunch of the roasted chickpea. That's a nice like gradient of texture, but nothing jarring that I wouldn't like. The mushroom on top is a lot. I'd maybe cut that up into smaller pieces because it's a bit going to earthiness with everything, especially when you already have the potato in there. But it's an excellent pasta. Being that we have had a lot of Angolati style pastas, and the one that comes to mind most often is the one from Yachtsman, because that reminded me more of like combos in a swamp, which I've said before. I did get sick of eating the one at Yachtsman. This feels more like decorative logs on a glassy pond, you know? Very like Californian forest, which works well for this restaurant. It's tasty. I think it's a very good replacement for the shepherd's pie, but this is going to be a lot less filling than the shepherd's pie. Not necessarily a bad thing. I like the flavors. I like the presentation. It feels like an upgrade, and we're all about upgrades. I would give it 4 out of 5 claws. Here we have the brand new on the menu, the seafood Fregola, this Sardonian heritage dish with the semolina pearl pasta in here that's sort of compared to like the Italian couscous, if you will, with tons of mussels and clams, scallops, and a seafood broth that I got to pour on myself. Now they even give me a little tiny fork so I can dig out the mussels and the rest of the shellfish in here. This is a pasta at its core and origin meant to be messy. They're Sardonian people who came up with this, have their own dialect and language inside Italy, and as a seaside fishing town, you're gonna get a little messy. So you know what? I'm gonna dig in, and I recommend double forking it. Dig out a little bit of the inside of that, and you can leave the shells here for sort of like added flavor, or you can discard them. They give you a little bowl to put them in as well. I like to keep them in sometimes for more traditional flavor. So the broth is it's simmered down like a risotto. The seafood cooked in it, so you get taste of like the seafood, and at the same time all the veggies and everything else, and then it soaks into the pasta. It's gonna be interesting flavor. The broth is exactly as you would expect. It's a very like white wine forward seafood based broth. So you're getting those briny flavors and the sharpness of the white wine soaked into like the base semolina pasta. The shellfish, mussels, everything, excellent. That pasta does give me the like it's the same sort of texture consistency as like an Israeli pearl couscous, but a little bit bigger. But it's soaking up that broth, so you're gonna get like a shot of that broth with every bite. It is a very like complex flavor profile, so if like you don't like very briny seafoods, like especially with the mussels and the clams, this is probably not going to be the broth for you or the dish for you, because it's a very complex flavor. As a bear that likes my seafood, I find it interesting. Not my favorite, but interesting. Definitely better than some of the seafood dishes we had here in the past. I would give this a 3.75 out of 5 claws. I like it, but I get the feeling that a lot of other people are not going to like it.
I have to say, it is super rare when Disney adds a new enhancement and the enhancement is plant-based. Now, I'm not going to equate this to Disney. Well, actually, I can, because Spice Road Table is now Disney. They're not third party anymore. So Disney did me dirty once at Spice Road Table when they marked carrots with like a yogurt. It was lambda, so it was like a Moroccan-style yogurt. It's not exactly Moroccan, but we'll just, for the purpose of the story, I'm going to say that. So they offered the carrots with the lambda and served it, and like, the server was so nonchalant about it because it had the plant-based symbol on it, and I was like, is this vegan? And the server was like, well, you don't have an allergy, so it's not a big deal to me. But no, it's not. And so like I struggle to go to Spice Road Table because of some of that, but also the carrot situation. So this is kind of like the old configuration of the Spice Road Table carrots. You have roasted carrots, you have a beautiful yogurt on the bottom, and then some beautiful herbs as well. Definitely better than what they offered me at Spice Road Table because it is verified vegan. Now, I will say, just to close out that story, that I did in fact get good carrots after that terrible experience that I had at Spice Road Table. Were the good carrots as good as these ones? Well, we'll find out in a second. But also, they didn't have a yogurt with them because it was Le Cellier and not Spice Road Table. Le Cellier just had carrots, which are no longer on the menu anymore. Those carrots were replaced with cauliflower, which is even better than the cauliflower steak they offer now. But we're not going to get into Le Cellier and all their menu changes. That's a story for another day. Cheers. That is very interesting. I do enjoy the yogurt. It has like a little mint to it. And with the carrots, it's really delicious. I do wish that there have been carrots in the past that we have had at other restaurants that were as delicious as this one, but I have to say these are probably the most delicious. And as an enhancement, I think it's like less than $10 for this. It is the largest carrot portion that we have had at Le Cellier or Spice Road Table. Like, of the three, this is the biggest. And I think it's about the same price or maybe a little bit less. And this is signature dining. So I have no notes for this. And I'm probably not going to finish this. So I'll either make Bear finish it or I'm going to take the rest of it home. And I'm going to have a really good time with it. I would give it a 3.75 out of 5 carrots. I do think it needs more of the yogurt, but I love the char on the carrots, so it's really hard to like give it a bad rating. But I think like slightly above average is where it belongs.
Now, my nickname is Bear, but I think I could probably go by Rabbit for my love of all things rabbit food. Rabbit? I could do Rabbit, probably. But I love a good roasted carrot. I love a good raw carrot. So when I saw that they had this carrot enhancement on the menu with a mint yogurt, you have my attention at the very least. Because even if the princess hadn't ordered this, I would have instantly. You have these nice multicolored heirloom style carrots, all thin and weary, and then a tons of the yogurt on the bottom. I love the flavors back and forth between the yogurt and the mint and the carrot. You're getting like that, like the base flavor of the yogurt. The mint sort of like brightens up the flavor, and then you're getting like the sweet but smoky flavor of the carrots. This is supposed to enhance my meal. I do in fact feel enhanced. The choice of a thin, like stringy carrot, that's a choice. I could have gone with like a thicker carrot, but these are probably much easier one to slice, roast, and eat on a consistent basis. That's really a minor nitpick, but honestly, I think that the cook on them is excellent. The roast is excellent, and I actually really, really like the mint yogurt. It's given very much like Middle Eastern, West African flavors, and I'm here for it. I would give that a 4.5 out of 5 claws. I would take just this as like my meal for like a lunch. Now, when I see this, I don't instantly think Spice Road Table carrots, probably because we've had such a bad time with those carrots. Honestly, I think more the Cellier carrots when I hit this, but honestly, I prefer these more.
This is my go-to drink at Hollywood Brown Derby, the modified pomegranate whiskey sour. It is vegan as long as you switch the alcohol, which Crown Royal is not vegan. So I always get Jameson in it, and the glasses of wine are just a little bit too expensive, so that's why I go for this one. This is nice. I like it. It's a little bit more on the pomegranate side than the sweet and sour side, and I think that's why it's a little bit better, that like tartness is balanced. So I would give this a 4.5 out of 5 pomegranates.
I decided to go for the Derby cocktail, because when you're in Hollywood Brown Derby, you do as a Derby does. I just don't have a fancy hat. So instead I got a fancy drink. Gentleman Jack with griffin fruit juice. That's grapefruit juice for those not in the know. And honey. I normally would call them the Glow Cube, but I have my own personal war against Glow Cube, and I will not allow any more of them in my house. Unless the princess asks for them, and then I'm just going to buckle and say yes every time. Gentleman Jack is probably the only Jack Daniel's whiskey that I would normally approve of. The addition of honey with the grapefruit juice takes that bite out of the grapefruit, so you get those tart flavors without any of that grapefruit burn. It's a nice cocktail. It feels worthy of the Derby, if you will. I'd give that 4 out of 5 claws. Hollywood Brown Derby's new menu gives me hope.
I loved it. I loved my options. I'm sad the desserts didn't change.
Yes, I definitely think there needs to be a change to the plant-based entree and a change to the desserts overall. More than anything, and I think I say this almost every time we've come here for the last 3 years, please train this drink menu. pretty please.
Don't change the specialty drinks though, but definitely I think add more to the drink menu, because I think that like for me as a wine drinker, all the wines are out of reach price point wise, and I want like affordable wines that I can enjoy instead of just getting mixed drinks. But the mixed drinks are nice, so.
Inclusivity in the wine selections, I guess
Yes,
what we're looking for.
I would agree.
But I like the changes to this menu. It's good to see these things change seasonally, especially a restaurant that's such an anchor here in Hollywood Studios. And we're good when we get to experience like fusions of different culture, which is exactly what this restaurant excels at. But
And I gotta say, and I was debating about this with Bear, but I think that this is my favorite restaurant at Hollywood Studios. Bear doesn't agree with me.
no, I don't agree.
But
I don't agree.
I think that like food-wise and rolls and all the things, like this is the best.
You can feel free to make the same face that she did after I say this. I would pick sci-fi over this every single time.
But also, remember, Club 33 also lives inside of Hollywood Brown Derby. So just remember that. It's like going to Citrus Coast when Victoria and Albert's is right there. It's like a little taste, a little sample. You're just like, hey, let me join you.
That's not an incentive for me, but let us know what
It's
you
for
guys
me.
think in the comments below. As always, if there's anything else you want to see us do, the comments will always be the place to find us. Hit the notification bell for when you see other videos like this, and
We have new videos 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday.
we will see you soon.
Be sure to subscribe and like this video. And if you don't comment, Bear will yeet himself up to the Club 33 balcony and get himself a lifetime ban at Hollywood Studios.
I think those ears literally have her with Club 33 on the brain. But you heard the girl.